Welcome back. Today I have two Lichess Rapid games to analyze, and to save time and make this intro as short as possible, I'll go ahead and switch over to the first one. This is from the night before last. According to the graph, it looks like I had an advantage most of the way, as high as 1.1 here and 1.8 here, but then I gave it away right at the end. So for context, I will click through the moves to get to the point at which I gave away the first advantage, then the second advantage, and then which I gave my opponent an advantage, and hopefully I can learn something from this. You probably can't hear it because I have noise reduction on the microphone, but one of my neighbors is helpfully playing loud music, and another neighbor is helpfully running their lawnmower nearby, so hopefully that won't distract me from my concentration too much. My opponent played the hillbilly attack against my Caro-Kann defense, and it looks like, once again, neither one of us made any mistakes or blunders in the first 15 moves. We got all the way to here before either one of us had any problems. But here, okay, this is the point at which I had the minus 1.1 advantage. But if we let the engine run a little bit, it may not... Oh, no, it came back up to minus 1.1. Okay, it went down to 0 point something for a second and then back up. I tried not to look at the line, but I accidentally did see it before I had a chance to evaluate the position. Here, I should have taken this knight. Wait, sorry, I don't understand why I should have taken that knight instead of the one that I did take. The one that I did take is my third best move, but it loses all my advantage. Yeah, I'm not sure why this... Oh, because it says they would take back with the g-pawn. Well, of course I would have an advantage then, because it would break open that structure. Wait. Oh no, if they took back with the queen, I would have had a fork with this knight. Okay, I see it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I should have taken this knight because they would have needed to take back with the g-pawn, because taking with the queen allows me the fork of the rook and the queen, and I would have gone up in exchange. I think I understand that. Or if they had tried something like this, I could have just taken back with the bishop and been pointed at the queen, and I would have gotten two pieces for one. So yeah, I understand that. Okay. But instead I took the other knight, which I did, thinking it would mess up their pawn structure a little bit, which it did, but it freed their rook. What should they should have taken back with the g-pawn. Okay, I mean with the h-pawn. There's really not that much difference. Okay, so they took back with the f-pawn. Sorry, I don't know the names of the pawns. I'm still learning this. I mean, I do know them. The hard part is getting it to be automatic where I don't have to think about it. Okay, and now I had a bunch of moves that kept us around that same evaluation, and I made one of them pointed at the queen. Okay, next mistake was my opponent's. Here, they had a bunch of moves that kept us around the same evaluation, but I think because their pawns were bunched up, they decided to start moving them, and that turned out to be a mistake. That's a mistake, and oh, wow. Free pawn. Okay, yeah, I saw that. I almost said I saw it without seeing the line, but I was watching the line, so I might have seen that, and then it's hard to tell. And it's frustrating that I can't get rid of this stuff here on the right column, but because right here it says, you know, queen captures g3 was best, even if the lines aren't visible up there. Yeah, the h-pawn used to be defending the g-pawn. Okay, but I didn't take that. And it looks like any other move would have been counted as a blunder because that's the only one that's minus 1.7. And it says after I did that, they would immediately drop back to offer a queen trade, and I would take their queen, and they would take mine, and I would be at minus 1.7? I'm sorry. Okay, well, let's say, is that... Okay, they have several moves that are pretty close. Queen to f2, queen to e1, both offering the queen trade. Or king to h1. Wait, is it because of this? If they don't move their king or make one of these moves to point at my queen, I can just take that pawn and be threatening mate. And this one here protects against mate and threatens or offers the queen trade. So let's say that they played that one, which it eventually determined was best. Now, if they play there, it's not necessarily my best move to trade. I have a bunch of other moves. Okay, what if they had gone to e1? Again, I have several moves that are about the same. I don't need to trade, and it's okay. Okay, and I think it is because I'm threatening this. So what if they had done something, I don't know, queen to d2? What if they had played queen to d2? Okay, that's what I wanted to know. If they didn't do something to defend against this, I would take that pawn. And now I'm threatening mate. They're guarding against it, and they need to play knight to h2 for, oh, maybe to get the rook up here? I don't understand necessarily all of that or why. I mean, I do understand why it's to my advantage to take two pawns. I don't necessarily understand what real threat I'm posing because again, it's so easy for them to defend against it. But back to when they played h3, yeah, I should have taken the free pawn. I get that. But instead, I can't explain that move. This is bishop to g6. Bishop to h7 are among my moves there. Knight to f6, if I didn't want to take the free pawn. That's about the same as the ones I just mentioned. Okay. Again, I understand. It should have taken the free pawn. Got it. When they made that move, how long did I spend on my next move? I spent 13 seconds on that. Okay, I still haven't internalized a checklist. And this late in the game, move 19, I definitely should have been looking for checks, captures, and threats. And that is a capture and a threat, I think. Okay. But I did that. My opponent responded thusly. I did get my queen in there. I just got it in there after they moved the g-pawn forward. And I have a bunch of moves that keep us even. Knight to f6. Ooh, not sure about that. They're going to challenge it immediately, aren't they? It says no. Okay. Or f5. Or rook c to e8. Yeah, that I don't understand. It's already on a semi-open file. I don't understand putting it behind a pawn that's not going to go anywhere for a little bit. Okay, now if I wanted to play f5, I first want to do this, I think, to protect that pawn, I guess. It says if I played f5, they wouldn't take it to undouble their pawns and mess up my thing here. It says they would play queen to f2. I don't think they would, but I don't know. But anyway, I took the knight, knowing that they would do this, so I understand why that wasn't great, because now I have to run with my queen. I did run to the best place. We played a few more moves here, and then I blundered and gave away the game. What I had to do here was rook to c6, or rook c to e8, or b5, or knight to d7, or knight to e8. Oh, because I needed a route. I can see why moving the knight is good, because I need a route to get my queen out. But instead, I locked my queen in there, and incidentally undefended the knight. Well, I know why that's a blunder. I hung a piece. Okay, got it. I think all of those were pretty low level. Maybe not, this last one was elementary, but the previous two were probably intermediate level mistakes or blunders, but I understand them. There's no reason to dwell here. I'm going to go into the next game. All right, this is last night's Lee chess game, and as soon as I saw the graph populate down there at the bottom, I remembered this is the one where I fell into a trap. My opponent played some sort of Caro-Kann trap here that I wasn't familiar with, or I didn't notice until too late, I should say. And maybe I was playing too quickly, but I did play the Caro-Kann defense. Again, this same setup that I've been seeing a lot lately, even though the engine almost never recommends this, but that's what opponents have been playing. And am I doing the wrong thing here? When my opponent, usually my opponent takes or pushes past, but let's see, should I have played something besides d5? No. Okay, I did play d5. And here, like I said, usually my opponent takes or pushes past, but those are the third and fourth best moves. d3 and knight to c3 are recommended, and this opponent played d3. Now on this one, I thought I was supposed to take, and when they take back, I'll get their queen. And it does say it's my best move to take, so I took, because I'm pretty sure I've been in this position before, but my opponent didn't take back. My opponent played the second best move, which gives me an advantage, but I should have recognized something was off about this. I thought they were targeting this pawn, and I had to defend it. But it turns out, despite none of this saying that, they're actually targeting f7. And I didn't realize it here, but it is my best move to ignore the threat on this pawn by taking that one, and they'll take back with their bishop. Okay, see, I think I've done that before, but I didn't here because when I've done it before, well, that means my opponent's got two pieces out, and I don't have any. And the only pawn I've moved forward is gone. But that's what it says my best move is, by far. Okay, well, what I did was get this knight out to defend this pawn, but I guess it doesn't make any sense because they can just take it. It's defended. Okay, so yeah, that didn't make any sense. Next time I'll do what I always did before, which is take this, and they'll get a bishop out. And then I'll play knight to d7, and they'll play queen to e2. Well, like I said, what I did was get this knight out, thinking I was defending this pawn. But again, I'm not. But I thought if they took it, I'll trade queens with them. But they're supposed to take with the knight. And I won't take back. But they didn't take with the knight. They played their third best move, which gives me a minus... Okay, the game review said 1.4 here, but now it's 0.9. And I have to play bishop to g4. Well, see, now I decided to take this pawn because they have two knights pointed here. And it is my second best move to take it. Okay, so that's not a huge blunder or anything. It's probably just slightly inaccurate. And they took back with the bishop, and I still have a very slight advantage if I'll play knight b to d7. But instead, I decided to kick this knight out, and that's a blunder because they take here. And now I know this is why they moved it here in the first place. It wasn't to target that pawn. If it was, they could have just taken it. So this is the trap. The trap is that when I take, all they have to do is give away their bishop, and they get my queen. Because if I don't take the bishop, I still have to get out of check one of two ways. And my queen is undefended because I took the knight. The queen wasn't in danger when their bishop was here, but yeah. So when I took there and they took my queen, I just resigned because even though the analysis says it's +4 instead of +6, it was +6 when we first got there, right? When I first blundered this, it says +6. But they played their best move, and it's almost +7. And I played my best move, and it's +6. And they played their best move. But now it's only +4. That threw me off, right? It's +6 if they check me there. Now it's just +4. But either way, they get my queen, right? I've taken 2 pieces with my king. They get my queen. And my best move is to put this knight here. But yeah, my blunder was trying to get rid of the knight right here. I had to play e6. Wait, what would e6 have stopped? They still could have done this, right? For some reason, it's completely different if I play e6. Now if they take here and I take back and they check me here, it's not even listed. But wait, why couldn't they check me here? Oh, because I can protect my queen because I moved this pawn. Oh my goodness. Backing up just because I'm going to enter this situation again here, probably. Oh, it says I could just get my queen out of that now. My third best move. Or e5. Anything but trying to get rid of the knight because this allows this. Okay, what about a6? Would it allow the same thing? Yes, okay. So basically, any move I make has to be getting this pawn out of the way so that my king has somewhere to go that protects the queen, or getting my queen out of the way so that the discovery doesn't hit it. Queen to c7, queen to a5, e6, e5, or knight b to d7. Oh, knight b to d7 gets in the way of the queen's discovery. Okay, yep, all of those moves prevent the trap. So what I have to realize is that when they've left that knight there, instead of doing what it said was their best move earlier, I'm fine as long as I recognize that they have this trap with the discovery. That's going to be difficult for me to remember because I think I've only seen it maybe 3 times, maybe twice. And I've played the Caro-Kann hundreds of times, but I've only run into this situation. Like I said, this might only be the 2nd or 3rd time. And because it's so rare, I don't know that I'm going to remember it. But I'm trying to burn it into my brain right now. Hopefully it'll stick. Things don't always stick in my brain. But you know what? I do have some time to do some puzzles. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go to, I think, my puzzle dashboard. Puzzle themes. I think I'm just going to do some mates in 2s. I think mate in 1s are usually too easy. So maybe mates in 2s will be a little bit more challenging. And I have missed a few, so that crop is a little odd, isn't it? There, that's better. Oh, I have to change my title. Obviously, I don't have to change my title. I just want to. If there's going to be a title up there, it might as well match what I'm doing. All right. I'm playing with the white pieces. Does it say that somewhere? Oh, right over here. Find the best move for white. Because black has just moved there, and I shouldn't trade, probably. I'm guessing I have a mate. Do I have a mate somewhere? Is that checkmate? No, they'll just move out. And that's not a checkmate, pretty sure, because they can just take, and then I'm in trouble. But that's what I look for first is checks. Oh, there's a check, but that's also bad, right? Oh, no, that pawn's pinned. Maybe that's what I need to see. The b7 pawn is pinned. So this check forces them over, and that's mate? I bet it's that. Okay, well, that took me a while, but I've noticed in the last few puzzles that I've missed, it's because I wasn't following my checklist. Oh, and also I just remembered I picked mate in 2s, so all of these are going to be mates in 2s. Wow, if I had seen that, I wouldn't have considered anything else but checks. Okay, next. Well, I have a check here. But that's not it, because in that case, they can run here, and then when I check again, they run here. So I bet what it is this check protected by the pawn. That only leaves them 1 legal move, and then this should be mate. That puzzle was rated 1921, by the way. I've noticed that the puzzle ratings on Lichess aren't that different from the puzzle ratings on chess.com. At least not as different as the other ratings. Like your rapid rating here will be 400 points higher than your rapid rating on chess.com or whatever, 300 points, 800 points, depending on what kind of style you play. But the puzzle ratings seem to be pretty close. Okay, here I have a check, but they can block. But I also have a check with the pawn. They can't go back where they were, and they can't come over here because of my other rook. And they can't block that check. It's protected by the bishop. So their only legal move would be to come forward. And then when I check, that's not a mate in 2 because they can block and I can take it and then it would be mate. But it's not mate in 2. That's mate in 3. So I'm thinking I have to do this check first and they have to block in one of those 2 squares. If they block here, then I check with the pawn and that's mate. And if they block here, then I would take it. Well, not take it that way. If they blocked here, I would take it this way, right? So I have to check first here and then check with the pawn. Okay, I have time for a few more. Okay, it says mate in 2. I don't think it's taking the rook because looks like they could get out, and if I checked them again, they could get out. Or they could get out this way, and if I checked them again, they could either block or continue running. So it's probably not that. If I check here, I'm covering all of those squares and all of these squares, and that only leaves them 1 legal move. And then I swing over here, and that's mate, I think. Yeah, because from here they can't go anywhere because I'm covering all this. Okay. Yep, still have about 5 minutes left on my end, so let's go. I have a discovery. I noticed that. Okay, that keeps them from getting out here, so they'd have to get out this way, and then that's made. Let's see, because this is a double check. They couldn't, take the knight or something because my rook is also checking them. And the knight covers that square. My king and pawn cover this square. My king and rook cover those, so that would leave them only one legal move. And then they can't come back over here because of my king, so I think that would be mate. All right. Again, I have a discovery. Let's see, where should I go with it? Already my pawn is hitting here. My queen's cutting off all of these. I'm guessing it's putting the knight over here on e6, which is the discovered check from my queen. And because the aforementioned squares are all already cut off by my queen, the king would only have two choices. Nope, it wouldn't have that choice because my bishop is pointed at it. Okay, so the king would only have one choice. It would have to go back to h7, and then that's mate. Yeah, I almost didn't see that bishop. I was wondering how I was going to checkmate if they went there, but the bishop was guarding that. Okay, a few more. Nope, they took my bishop. Right, I do have some checks. This is a check. Wait, the rook's also pointed there because my pawn got messed up. Which one's better? I think normally I would probably do it with the rook, but then the king comes out, and then I don't have a good follow-up because my queen can't get in there, right? Actually, I can't go there because of their bishop, and there because of their queen and rook. But if I put my queen there first, that only leaves them a couple of legal moves, and then I would be protected by my rook when I came down. And then it has to be h7, not h8, because h8 allows them out. So h7 is mate. All right, a couple more minutes. Ooh, okay, my knight is hanging. Maybe they should have taken that. But do I have any checks? Oh, I do. I have this check. Oh no, my knight's not hanging. My queen is protecting my knight. Okay, but I do have this check, which continues to protect the knight and only leaves the king one legal move. And then that would be mate with the knight because my queen would be cutting off all the escape squares. All right. I'm playing with the black pieces. I have a few checks, like that's a check and that's a check, but I think both of those are bad, right? The rook can take or the king could take. I don't know which one they would take with, but we know it's a mate in two. Wait, okay. Again, I had to notice that, I'm pretty sure this is it. I had to notice that my h7 pawn is missing, so my rook has sight down here. So if I take here with check, the king can't move over because my bishop's guarding those two squares. And they can't take with this pawn because this bishop has it pinned. So they would have to take with this pawn, and then that's mate down there. All right, yeah, that's what I had to notice, that pawn was missing and that these two bishops, one was covering those two squares and the other one was pinning that pawn. I think I have time for one more. Okay. Well, let's say I checked here with the rook and it's protected by the other rook, so their only legal move would be to take, and then this would be mate here with my bishop because they wouldn't have that escape square because their knight's there. I think, like so. Wow, that's an interesting mate. I don't think I've ever seen that before. All right, well, that was my training for the day, analyzing those two games and then doing some puzzles. I am going to try to change this up a little bit. I think I mentioned in my previous video, I got stuck in a rut of forcing myself to analyze the Lichess game every day, and sometimes that took too long, and I had time for nothing else. So I think what I'm going to try to do, at least for the next several sessions, is every other day do something besides start with the Lichess analysis, start with puzzles or a rapid game or whatever, and then if I have time, do the Lichess, and if I don't, I'll do 2 Lichesses the next day. But again, the idea is to get me doing something, forcing myself to do something every day that should actually help my chess development. Thank you for spending your time here, and I'll see you next time.